So tell me about your favorite tool of the week.
Tool of the week has to be YouTube Capture. It's just really easy to go in there and shoot clips and delete clips that you don't want, add clips that you do want, and then edit it right there on your phone, and then add music, and then upload it all from your phone. And we were out snowboarding, snow tubing the other day with my kids. An idea just popped in my head about doing something fun, and it took just a few minutes to set it up, and then we got it in the first take, and it worked. And it was so easy to do.
Yeah. Okay, just be very aware of your surroundings so you're safe. Whoa!
So I really liked the way that Coke told a super short story. You know, we always talk about keep it tight, keep it short, respect your audience's time. They told a really short story by, over the course of maybe a minute or so, using an old Bee Gees song as the soundtrack. It was just a beautiful story. It was a beautiful story about a couple becoming a family, essentially. But rather than make it, super saccharine and a little bit too sweet, instead it kind of exposed that darker side of parenting that anybody who has had kids is really well familiar with. Kids take over your house, they ransack your furniture, they harass your dog, but, still it's like the best thing that's ever happened to you. And I love the way that they conveyed that and aligning it with Coke in a super short video.
Well, yeah, and they loosely aligned it with Coke. I mean, they didn't try to force it, I thought. I mean, I saw it after you sent it to me. And it's one of those things that it is not about the product at all. It's just a story about people. And probably people who drink Coke, we don't know. They may be Mr. Pibb folks. We just don't know that. But they didn't try to justify it or force it into a Coke storyline. I like that. But the moments in that little Coke spot that I connected with most was emotionally is those moments of pain, those frustrating moments of being a parent where, that's where we connect emotionally, because we've had those sinking feelings of frustration and discouragement that happen as a parent. And it was nice that they weren't afraid to show some of the not so fun parts of being a parent.
Yeah, I think part of that play, like that only ran in Argentina and in Chile, I believe. So it didn't run in the U.S. And it was about a product, like a more all-natural Coke product. Apparently, it has stevia instead of sugar. So that was part of their shtick, part of their deal in that particular video. One of the things that they were showing is that is real life, in the way that this product is a little bit more real. So I think that's a way that they're aligning the two concepts. Maybe a little bit too out there, but I think it probably made sense. It makes sense when you think about it a little bit.
Yeah, it is. And then it's not too sweet. You see what they did there? A metaphor.
See what they did there? Part of a whole effort that Coke has been on this trajectory for a while, where they're really using stories more than corporate speak. So I think it's a great example of that. Last story this week was about a little stuffed animal. Maybe a lion, maybe a bear. Actually, originally thought to be a lion, then a dog. No, I'm sorry. Originally thought to be...
It was a wombat.
It was originally...
It was a wombat. I knew it was something from the Sears Garanimals line. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, and I know I'm not supposed to. Let me use my I feel words. I feel ignored and not valued when I interrupt you.
No, I feel because. Come on, man. How long have you been going to therapy? You don't know that?
Not long enough. Not long enough, apparently. Right. I feel like I want a new podcast partner when you interrupt me.
Because you interrupt me.
I feel like you're a jackass when you interrupt me. I know that's what you're thinking. Tell the audience. Okay, let's be honest. Anyway, go ahead. I'll be quiet.
All right. Now, let's start that whole thing over again.
Yes.
I don't even remember what it was.
It was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, right. But anyway, it concerns a little lion that was left on the train, a little stuffed animal that was left on the train by a little girl. And a woman named Lauren Vranch found the lion on the train, thought about giving it to Lost and Found, but then realized that, it would be, far away from where the passenger who left the lion there had originated. So she started tweeting about it and showing pictures on Twitter, which later got picked up on Facebook. Anyway, over the course of a weekend, this lion had a little bit of an adventure with Lauren. And ultimately, the dad of the little girl who lost the lion saw the picture on Facebook, reached out, and they reunited, this little girl with her lion. And it was such a great story. I mean, it's such a great story of a couple things. First of all, I think that we hear all the time about hoaxes, like, for example, the story of that comedian who made up this whole story about Diane, who was sitting a couple seats up from him. And he sort of made up this whole, pretend fight that he had with this other passenger on an airplane. There was a bunch of stories in Mashable recently about the big hoaxes of 2013. But I love this story because it was so sweet and so simple, and I think really showed, the power of social media, and also just, the goodness of people. So, in this season, I just thought there was a lot of grace in that story, and I thought it was a nice one to talk about.